Hello YouTube, how is everyone doing? It's Professional here. So today I wanted to talk about Ghost Recon Breakpoint, a game that I'm really excited for, a new open world game. And if you might wonder how this relates to this channel, it does greatly, because this channel used to have a lot of Ghost Recon stuff on it back in 2017. Ghost Recon Wildlands was one of my favorite games that I ever played. I have a full walkthrough of the game back in 2017 and even the DLCs, and I did a review for all the DLCs as well. But anyways, I was really excited for the new Ghost Recon game. I wanted to see what would be the sequel to Wildlands. I thought it would be called Wildlands 2, but it's called Ghost Recon Breakpoint. It is the direct sequel to Wildlands. It's the same characters, it's the same open world concept, and I was looking up the game, I was trying to find out more information about the game, looking up some trailers, possible gameplay, trying to read some articles about it, what people are saying about it, and unfortunately, I stumbled across a few articles that were just plain stupid. Just literally plain stupid. And this is one article that I'm going to read to you guys, but basically, I'm not joking about this. There are people who are attacking the new Ghost Recon game. They are attacking this game, complaining over the fact that the game will not have a political message. They want politics in a Ghost Recon game, which makes no sense to me. And Ubisoft, the developers of Ghost Recon Breakpoint, have said, this game will not have any politics in it, no political message. We don't want to alienate our customers. It's bad for business. Perfectly understandable. Why would you put politics into a game? But for these gaming journalists, it's not good enough. They want a political message in these games, and it's obviously not all gaming journalists feel this way, but a number of articles that I've seen, people are complaining about this. And I'm going to read you guys one article here, The Verge, and I'm going to link this article also down below in this video so you guys can read it. But let me read a little bit of this article, and I'll let you guys know what I think of it. And this article is going to be hard for me to read through because it just says a lot of nonsense, and you guys are going to hear the nonsense. But let's start reading it. Ubisoft keeps pretending its political games don't have politics in them. Ghost Recon Breakpoint is just the latest example. Today, Ubisoft unveiled the latest Tom Clancy release, Ghost Recon Breakpoint, a sequel to 2017's Wildlands. It's another realistic military shooter, and another chance for Ubisoft to say that its games are free of politics. It's becoming something of a trend for the French publisher, which makes big-budget action games that feature settings and storylines plucked from the headlines, yet stubbornly refuse to say much of substance. Despite this, Ubisoft CEO Yves Guillemot told The Guardian last year that instead of making political statements, the company makes games where the goal is to make people think. Here are a few examples of the company's insistence on staying away from politics and just how ridiculous that can be when you look at the actual game. So I want to see what their examples are of this, but this is ridiculous. They're literally complaining up here, saying that the storylines plucked from headlines, yet stubbornly refuse to say much of substance despite this. I don't understand where they are getting this point from. Where are their games, getting their ideas from headlines? I've played a lot of Ubisoft games. I haven't seen any kind of politics in them. No political message that I've seen. So let's read what these people think is politics. Ghost Recon Breakpoint. What it's about. Players explore an island compound in the South Pacific owned by a rich tech CEO who made his fortune through autonomous drones and AI. Initially interested in a remote testing site for its autonomous drones, the Silicon Valley company eventually turned Aurora into its World 2.0, a high-tech, high-security utopia of sustainable eco-cities and robotics research, Ubisoft explains. One of your main enemies is a rogue group of former US soldiers, okay? You're fighting a new faction of enemies. I saw the Ghost Recon Breakpoint trailer. I thought it was good. I did not see any kind of politics in it, and I'm happy that none of that is in there. From the trailer, when I watched it, I saw that you were greatly outnumbered in this game. You were greatly outgunned. You're fighting a much tougher enemy than the cartel from the previous game, and it's going to be a really tough fight. That's the message that I got from that trailer. So what Ubisoft says, lead developer Sebastien Leprestre tells GameSpot, we're creating a game here. We're not trying to make political statements in our games. We've rooted ourselves in reality, and you'll get what you get out of your playthrough. Everybody will get something different out of their experience. The main story might make you see different situations, but we're not trying to guide anybody or to make any sorts of statements. It's a what-if scenario. It's Tom Clancy. It's purely fictional. Perfectly legitimate point right there, It's a fictional conflict. They're not trying to make a political statement. I don't understand why The Verge is annoyed by this. Why are you annoyed that the game refuses to take a political stance? Let's keep reading here. The Division 2, what it's about, set in Washington, D.C. following a devastating pandemic caused by a terrorist attack, the game tasks players in the roles of agents of the Strategic Homeland Division, with fighting corporate militias to gain back control of the nation's capital. In a promotional email, Ubisoft asked players to come see what a real government shutdown looks like. The company later apologized. What Ubisoft says, speaking to Polygon, creative director Terry Spire said, "We're definitely not making any political statements." He also told Kotaku, "The goal isn't to make a political statement. It's not to reflect on any of the things that are happening in the current world, in the live world." Later, Alf Condelius, COO of developer Ubisoft Massive, said at a conference that we cannot be openly political in our games. It's also bad for business, unfortunately, if you want the honest truth. That's a fact, if you are political in your games, that is bad for business because, politics is such a messy and divisive subject. Everybody has a different opinion, as I'm sure almost everybody watching this video, nobody agrees on every single thing together. Everybody has their own viewpoints. Everybody has their own feelings on certain issues. That's understandable. But why would you try to shove a specific political message into a game? You are going to alienate half of your audience. You're going to annoy and piss off half of your audience when you shove politics into a game. Ubisoft is 100% correct when they're saying that putting politics into games is bad for business. That's why games that try to push a political agenda, a lot of people don't buy them, and they struggle. Why are you trying to put politics into a game? That makes no sense to me. I have never in my life heard somebody say, "I want to play this game because it has politics in it." One of the reasons that we play video games is so that we don't have to deal with stuff in the real world. You can play a video game, you can sit down, have fun with your friends, and you don't got to worry about the nonsense that's going on in the world. But yet they're trying to bring real world things into this. And Washington, D.C., it's the nation's capital in the Division 2. I have the Division 2. I played a little bit of it. I didn't play a lot of it, but I didn't see anything political in that game. And, good on them for not putting any of that stuff in. It's, where Washington, D.C. is in an apocalyptic situation, and you have to fight to take back the city. Glad there's no politics in that game. I don't know why you would want to put politics in the game. Now, let's keep reading. Far Cry 5, what it's about. A cult consisting primarily of heavily armed white men take over a small Montana county in order to live outside of government control. The first promotional art for the game was an Americana take on The Last Supper, complete with an alternate version of the US flag as a tablecloth. Okay, I never played Far Cry 5. I didn't play the game, but I don't understand why they're bringing race into this. They're saying heavily armed white men. I don't know what that has anything to do with the game. When I saw gameplay of Far Cry 5, I didn't see that in it. I didn't see race in it at all. I just saw the game. I didn't play the game. I know a lot of people liked it. I never played the game. I don't know why they're bringing that up here, but I remember this. People were pissed off and they were upset at the Division 2, and they were upset at both Far Cry 5 and Division 2. They were upset at both games. Both games didn't have a political message in them. They were neutral. Why is somebody caring about this? I can't imagine how these people play games. You sit down and you play a game and you're annoyed the game doesn't have a political message in it? Aren't games supposed to be welcoming to everyone? What Ubisoft says. When The Verge asked creative director Dan Hay about how the game and its imagery were impacted by the turmoil in a modern American politics, he said, "I don't think you'd believe me if I said, oh, that has no effect on us. Of course it does. We're human beings, and we have conversations, and we go home and turn on the news. Things that we never imagined would happen are happening, and it affects us. There's always room for what does that mean, and how does that impact things. I think the key for us is that sometimes if you try to make something for everyone, you make nothing." He's at least the Ubisoft developer is being honest. We all have our different viewpoints, but it doesn't really impact our games. We're not trying to shove a political message into the game. And Ghost Recon Wildlands, what it's about. After becoming overrun by a Mexican drug cartel, Bolivia turns into the world's largest producer of cocaine and a violent war zone. Players, as special agents of the US government, have to kill their way through the cartel to stabilize the region. What Ubisoft says. When the Bolivian government voiced displeasure over its depiction in the game, Ubisoft responded with a statement explaining that while the game's premise imagines a different reality than the one that exists in Bolivia today, we do hope that the in-game world comes close to representing the country's beautiful topography. I don't know how you can accuse Ghost Recon Wildlands of being political. I played a ton of Ghost Recon Wildlands, so I can say for a fact this game is not political at all. I played this game so much. I did all the activities. I found all the collectibles. I played so much of this game. There was nothing in that game political whatsoever, so I don't know what The Verge is getting at here. There's nothing political in that game. They're basically arguing that because the game is set in Bolivia, that somehow it's it's political. I don't understand. It only has a real world location, Bolivia, the country of Bolivia, and it has realistic environments for Bolivia. At least that's what the creators said, that they wanted to create realistic environments for the country of Bolivia. But there was nothing political in nature about that game. I didn't see anything political in that game. So, The Verge arguing like Far Cry 5, The Division 2, and Ghost Recon Breakpoint, they're arguing that Ubisoft says that they're refusing to go political, but their games are political. These people are just upset that these games don't have a political message in it. And you know what? Let me rephrase that. These people are massive hypocrites. These journalists. I don't know how you can possibly call yourself a video game journalist. How can you call yourself video game journalist and you're complaining that a game has no politics and it doesn't have a political message? These people are massive hypocrites. You know why they're massive hypocrites? Because they don't want politics to be in the game. You know what they want? They want their specific political agenda to be in the game. That's what they want. They want their specific political agenda to be in the game. Because if Ubisoft went political and they put politics in Ghost Recon Breakpoint and all those other games, but they didn't have the same political message that these people wanted, they had the opposite one, I guarantee you, these people would be raging even more. They would be saying, oh, Ghost Recon Breakpoint has a really bad political message in it, blah, 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 this. These people would just be ranting and raging about this type of stuff. These people are massive hypocrites. It's my political agenda is more important than this person's political agenda, and nobody's political agenda should be shoved into these games. Games should stay neutral. They should not have any kind of politics in it. Like I said, politics is such a messy subject. It's such a divisive subject. Everybody has their opinion. Everybody watching this video, I'm sure there's people that watch this video that have all different types of political affiliation, but we're all gamers. I don't understand why you would want to put politics into a game, because you're going to divide a number of people. No matter what political stance you take this political stance or you take that one, you're going to divide a number of people. That's why video games should stay neutral. They shouldn't tell people what to think. Games are meant to be a form of entertainment. They're not meant to tell people to think a certain way. That's not for them. We play games to have fun. We play games to play online, to play with our friends, or enjoy a good single player story, that type of stuff. I don't understand why these people want politics in the game. I'm glad these are not the people making Ghost Recon Breakpoint, because if these were the people making Ghost Recon Breakpoint, the game would be ruined, and I would refuse to buy it. Even though I was such a big Wildlands fan, if these people designed Ghost Recon Breakpoint and shoved all those politics in it, I would not buy it. I don't know about you guys, but I would not buy a game like that. I refuse to play a game like that. I am only okay with politics if it's one of two ways in games. One, if it's fictional politics, if it's fictional and it has something to do with the main story, I'm perfectly fine with that, because, fictional politics, nobody believes in that. That's something completely made up for that specific game. And if it's unique to the story, important to the story, then that's part of the game. I don't have a problem with that. Or, if they want to put politics into a game, make it so that there's no specific message in it, that the game doesn't want you to think that way. Like, for instance, I was playing a game recently, a new open world game for PS4 called Days Gone, and I love that game. And in Days Gone, there's this one character called Mark Copeland, and he runs a radio show in the game. He's very political in the game. But the thing is, though, I didn't think that was a bad thing, because Copeland in the game, even though he's very political, the game doesn't tell you whether he's right and doesn't tell you whether he's wrong. Game pretty much lets you make up your own mind. You're listening to him, and what you think is what you think. It's your opinion. The game doesn't specifically tell you this person is bad, their thoughts are bad. Deacon, the main character, sometimes he agrees with Cope when he responds to the things he says on the radio. Sometimes he doesn't agree with him. He has his own personality, but the game does not tell you a specific way to think. And Copeland is a great character, and that was part of his character, him having all those beliefs. And each camp in Days Gone, there's 4 camps in total in the game, and each camp has a very different outlook. A very different outlook on life. They have all very different ideologies. That's fine. It's an apocalyptic scenario. Each camp has a different belief on how they want to run, but the game doesn't specifically tell you this person is correct in their beliefs. It lets you make up your mind. Lets you think on your own. I don't like games that try to shove politics in there and have a specific political message. Like I said, you are going to alienate a huge amount of your audience. Politics should stay far away from games, and I'm very happy that, Ubisoft is taking this direction and saying, we're not going to put any politics in. And these people, they can rage all they want, but like I said, these people are massive hypocrites. They want to shove their political agenda in the game, but are against other people's political agendas. They want to have their specific agenda, and I'm not saying those other political agendas should be in the game. Nobody's agenda should be in the game. A game should be made just for fun, for entertainment. I look forward to Ghost Recon Breakpoint. I think it's going to be an amazing game. I'll definitely have gameplay of that game later in the year when it comes out in October, and I'll probably have a review up on that game as well. But Thank you, Ubisoft, for taking a neutral stance on this and not having any politics and not letting people like this ruin the game, because believe me, if these journalists were designing the game would be absolutely ruined. And I don't know how you can call yourself a video game journalist but want politics in a game. Never heard anybody wanting politics in a video game. So thank you guys for watching. Let me know what you think down below. Let me know if you agree with me or if you disagree with me. And if you disagree with me, let me know in the comments why. Thank you guys for watching. If you enjoyed the video, drop a like. If you're new to my channel, enjoy my content, subscribe. And I'll see you guys on the next one. Take care, everyone.